Do you have like an elevator pitch for why sola scriptura isn't valid, why it's a heresy?
Yes. So basically, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, the difference between Catholics and Protestants is that we believe that Jesus started the Catholic Church. He started a teaching and preaching authoritative church on the apostles. So he gave his authority to the apostles who were in charge of the church when he left. They taught, they preached, they corrected people, they reproved, they made doctrines, and they even kicked people out of the church if they, wouldn't follow the laws that Christ laid down. So we clearly have a teaching church long before the New Testament was even written. This is how it was for 1,500 years. We had bishops, priests, deacons, authority. Then Martin Luther came along, didn't like the way things were running, so he jumped off the boat and started taking a life raft toward heaven.
Sure.
He said, I don't need the Pope. I don't need tradition. I just need the Bible alone. If you can't convince me by the Bible, then I'm not going to believe you. So he went by the Bible alone. He just invented this sola scriptura. And he said, everybody is free to look in this book by themselves. For the last 2,000 years, 1,500 years, the Catholic Church has kept it from the people because they just wanted to keep power. But now people can read it for themselves. Well, guess what? Now Protestants think everybody used to just want to read the Bible, but the Catholic Church wouldn't let them. Here's the deal. Most people, for most of history, couldn't read.
Right.
They were illiterate till long after the printing press. What people don't know is it took 3 years to copy a Bible. The Bible wasn't even made until about the year 400. And it took 3 years to copy one because you had to kill hundreds of animals just to get the pages.
Right.
Bottom line is that the sola scriptura, the Bible alone, isn't true. We have thousands of Protestant denominations right from the beginning. Luther, Zwingli, Calvin, Anabaptists, Baptists, they all argued with each other and they couldn't agree on what the Bible meant. And now today we have thousands of bickering denominations that can't agree on what the Bible means. But yet the Catholic Church has been there for 2,000 years with the way it's always been.
It's always just been a strange notion to me, this idea that Christ... It's almost as if our sola scriptura Protestant brothers and sisters, right, think that Jesus, right before he ascended into heaven, said, also, I wrote this book. Here you are. See you later. And the whole history of, no, Christ does not give us a book. Christ gives us a church. And the question that I've thrown in the face, mostly of the door knocking variety of Jehovah's Witnesses and those types, are where did the Bible come from? And it's always interesting to see their responses because you can correct me on I know that it was, there were a series of councils, ending with the Council of Trent, when we once again officially said, no, these are the only books that are canon. But it's the Catholic Church that determined what books were in the Bible and which ones were not.
Yeah, I actually just made a clickbaity video recently that got almost 40,000 views in just a few weeks. And it was the one topic that Protestants fear the most. And everyone was like, what is it? And it was the canon of the Bible, because the Catholic Church definitively and authority chose the books that would be in the Bible.
Right.
And if that's true, and if God used the Catholic Church and her authority to authoritatively choose the Bible, then Protestants have to admit that the Catholic Church is authoritative, and they do not want to admit that. So they have to say things like, oh, well, the early Christians just knew what the canon was. Well, that's not true, because there were tons of canons floating around and they didn't agree. Right. Oh, well, they came to an agreement. No, they didn't. It was the Catholic Church that canonized it officially and definitively at the Council of Rome in 382 and finalized at the Councils of Hippo in Africa and the Council of Carthage in 397. It was, of course, reaffirmed at Trent, but that was it in 397. That was the final canon. And it's very interesting that the Protestants say they go by the Bible, but the Bible alone isn't in the Bible.
But there's
no scripture.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, if you're enjoying the content, be sure to like, subscribe, and go back and watch a full-length video. We talk a lot more about this. We get into some other stuff. I think you'll love it. Thanks.